Hello everyone, welcome to Guru TV. I'm your host Jason Sutton, the Guru from the Dana Rader Golf School here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I've got an exciting show for you today. I've got one of my good friends, Jason Helman, special guest, outstanding teacher from Canada, who just recently won Ontario Section Teacher of the Year. So we've got a really fun-filled afternoon for you. We're going to talk about a variety of topics that I think are going to help the viewers out there. And I just want to welcome Jason to the show. Thanks for coming out. He's on his way back to Canada. He's nice enough to stop in and share some ideas with us. And what I want to do is start out with just tell us a little bit about yourself, Jason, and some of the ideas that you try to instill and what you think is important in your teaching.
Well, in teaching over the last 18 years, I found quite a few things that are really important in the golf swing, but never more one than biomechanics and sequence. So I really focus on those two things, and I want to move along with those and get people to understand that club mechanics are less important and body mechanics are really important. And if they focus on that more, I think their golf swing will really improve quickly, and I seem to have a lot of success with students that way in relation to how they're supposed to move efficiently and effectively, reduce injuries, and worry less about where the club's supposed to be and where their body's supposed to be.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of different theories out there. Some of you teaching or learning to play the game might say, well, does the club swing the body, or is it vice versa? And today we're going to talk a little bit about how the body motion can affect what your golf club is doing. So what do you think the first thing is that most people don't get when we're talking about body motion?
Well, from what I see on TV, and if you're sitting on the couch Sunday afternoon with your remote, you've got your HD TV and you can slow it down and freeze frame it. A lot of people really are focused, especially the instructors teaching on TV, on how the hips drive way out in front. And I think Monday mornings, if they're going out from watching the stuff on the couch, they really go and try and work hard on clearing their hips, and I see a lot of right leg impact. So what I mean by that is
show us that a little bit there.
The shaft is going through the right leg. So here, let me grab your clip because I'm left-handed. So I see a lot of people trying to do this, and then they get to impact this way, and that's not a very good position to hit the ball really far or compress it. And I know you work hard on that too. And what can happen is even if you get your hands and you get in that scooping position, it gets even worse. So this is a little bit more higher handicaps, from 25 to 30, and then maybe your 14s are not bad there, but we really want to have that shaft going through the left leg. And if you clear too far in front, you'll never get through there because the club's stuck behind you. So I really like to get the club moving down from the top, more from a pulling motion. Now some coaches and instructors say dropping motion, but I think that in my opinion, dropping kind of leads to casting, which they're already kind of doing. When they clear their hips, they have to do that. So I like the pulling motion down in here, and if we're trying to work on lag, that's really what we want to have happen is to pull the club down in here and then turn the body out of the way and get to that proper impact position, where I've seen one of your other shows where it's post up.
Yeah.
And we want to post up, and a lot of people don't know how to post up, and I think if we can teach them that, then their impact position will improve and their ball striking will improve, dramatically.
Absolutely. That's great stuff. And I think, and we've talked about this in past segments, is it really starts with a good setup. And one of the big things that I see most people do is they get a little bit out of line with their hips and their shoulders and their spine angle at setup. So go ahead and set up like you're going to hit a golf ball there.
All right. Yeah, what we can do is
lefty. Yeah.
I also have a little teaching aid.
Yeah, we're all about the teaching aids, right? They're going to help you.
Teaching aids that work.
There you go.
So we got some stuff in here.
This is called the Swinky.
It's called the Swinky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Swinky.
So it just looks like a pull, but it's got a lot of stuff inside of here. So we got your alignment sticks inside, so they don't get under your head covers and scratch your clubs up, because some of those can do that. These are used basically for some footwork and some putting drills. So if we're going to talk about alignment, let's get some alignment sticks out and set up. pretend we're going this way. You can use this stick in numerous positions. You can use it for swing planes, you can use it for hitting, you know, through the tracks here. I'll go right-handed again. Okay. So if you want to expand on alignment, I think what you're talking about is people sometimes get discombobulated or disconnected before they're ready to go.
Yeah, as he's set up, what I see a lot of times is folks get maybe too far to the right with their hips. Okay, if you turn and face the camera for me there one time. So you see I see a lot of this action, right? And from there, it's very difficult for us to pivot, right? And a lot of people say, well, I sway, right? So I move off the ball too much with my lower body. So when we're set up to the ball, you know, we got basically two spine alignments. We've got one that's over the ball, and then we got one that's actually going to be a little bit away. Right? Now, this doesn't mean necessarily that I've got to get all my weight on my right side. We're still going to be pretty balanced, but I always want to feel like the left hip is a little bit closer to the target than the left shoulder. If not, then we're going to get in a very tough position to really make a good pivot and also swing the club on plane. All right, go ahead and go to your side view there again. So if we go back to the side view, again, you know, we're trying to get the hips, shoulders, forearms, everything in line. So a lot of people get this way, especially with the driver, right? The right shoulder's a little high, left shoulder's too low, you know, and it feels comfortable, but it's all a problem with the hips. So if we get the hips a little more forward and get everything squared up, now we're in a nice position here where the forearms and shoulders are matching our target line. This is a great way to start out. What do you think about that, Jay?
I think that's great. And if we can expand on it a little bit,
yeah.
I like to see when I first see a player, within about 5 balls, I can figure out what we want to work on, and then spend the rest of the time, you know, accomplishing those goals. So when we're talking about lines, we like to see toe lines, knee lines, hip lines, forearm lines, and shoulder lines. I think that's 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if we can focus on setup properly, I think 95% of people get set up incorrectly and then have to make a motion or compensate during the golf swing on the way down, and thus they get a variety of golf shots, left to right, right to left, you know, one straight. And we really don't want you to be a 1 in 10 golfer. We want you to be like a 6 in 10 golfer. So 6 really good shots, you know, and 4 so-so shots, which you can expect in a round based on how much you play, how much you practice, some of those things. So leading into practice, just that word there.
Absolutely, yeah. And one quick thing here is I want to see what kind of pivot do you like to see? Do you like to see head movement? Do you like to see no head movement? Just kind of go through your perfect scenario of a pivot. Show me what you would have the students do.
From a turning standpoint or a proper rotation standpoint, I think a lot of people are misguided with where their center of their body is. So a lot of people think their center of their body is right here, and it's really not. It's up in here in your sternum. So if we can turn around that sternum, okay, and more or less stay still, with maybe a little bit of weight shift in towards the back foot. From there, again, I kind of work on this, you know, pulling motion, because you know, if we get up in here, a lot of people want to do that, and they want to go with their lower body first. So if we can turn properly and keep our shoulders, you know, on a little bit of an angle here, rather than, well, I see a lot of people do this and want to lift up, you know, and get level. So if we can, you know, we've seen this drill quite a few times where people, you know, turn like this, and that's a good turn, and then people turn like that, and now their shoulders in the way, and they can't really see the golf ball. So they have to, again, compensate. So the compensation is they go like that, and they get the shoulders working, you know, outside and around, kind of like a merry-go-round. And I like to swing, I get people swinging like a Ferris wheel.
Okay. Yeah,
so a little bit more vertical, and that seems to get them, you know, when they get that club down here, you can see it's a little bit more vertical this way. You know, another analogy might be, this is the pencil, this is the sharp point, you know, on a compass when you draw a circle on paper. And if you watch the pencil, okay, it starts to make that half circle back, and then we want to make the half circle, you know, on the same line on the way down. We get to the bottom of the arc, and then continue over on this side and finish the circle off. So proper turn, I think, comes from the center here. If we can stay there and turn back, we're in a pretty good spot now where we can, you know, start to transition down into getting into impact properly.
So you're estimating if you get too much move off the ball, it makes it a little more difficult to find that swing bottom and hit a solid shot and get a dip in front of the golf ball. You find that a lot with
Absolutely.
your students? Yeah.
Absolutely. If you lose your center, it's very difficult to find the center again. So if we start going, you know, sideways and moving the center over here, we're going to have to get lucky. So in other words, get lucky to time it right to get back to where you started. And if you happen to pass your center on the way through, well, then it's even more difficult, which is, you know, we get this right leg impact kind of like that because we've moved sideways. Okay. We're not actually turning, we're just moving laterally.
All right. So let's wrap it up today. Jason, I really appreciate you being with me on Guru TV and stopping in and helping my viewers. Hopefully this is going to help you guys. Check out the blog. You guys know my blog, golfgurutv.com. Check out Jason's blog, jasonhelmangolf.com. It has some fantastic stuff there. And we'll see you next time on Guru TV.